welcome to another episode of Will It Work? I'm Kevin. Today we're looking at the Wii from Nintendo. I have a number of Wii units that I still have one set up at in the room I'm actually in right now, where I keep some of the classic systems set up because there's games on them that I still want to play. While people are familiar, of course, with a lot of the motion control aspects of the Wii, it actually had a lot of fairly decent games that did not involve motion control. And I have been wanting to play some of them or get through some of them as I went. But interestingly enough, there's a point in time when you're like... people have purchased game systems and then they've decided to go on to the next game system and go on to the next game system. And sometime right around there, where you're like 2 systems out, that's when you find these older systems still available in relatively good shape with a lot of games for inexpensive, because people are just trying to unload them so they can buy new game systems, and you get something that is in pretty good shape. The unfortunate thing, though, about the Wii is that it had a Wii store, and a lot of people bought stuff online to play on the Wii. And then Nintendo decided that it wasn't making any money. People weren't buying anything anymore, and they just shut the store down. So if you have games saved to memory, or your memory stick or whatever, if you ever lose that, you're out of luck. And that's unfortunate because, I really doubt that it cost Nintendo that much money to keep that store going, right? A couple of employees, a couple servers, some domain names, some engineers, which, they're doing a lot of that stuff anyway. For Wii U store, for instance, is still up. I think the 3DS store is probably still running. Certainly the Switch store is still up. So, you have all these people and assets running anyway. Why close the Wii store? Does it really, you know what I mean? It just seems really a bit of a shame, because it just shows you how flimsy it is when you purchase games online. You may eventually lose access to them if those games ever get lost. So that said, I'm not going to test this because I know it works. Not only that, I will say that when it comes to the Wii, it's probably the system I have the most of. So this box here is full, right, with the motion control in the game and in the stand and everything. It's comes with Wii Sports, and it's the whole system right here is all sealed up nicely in this one box. I have another unit that's already connected that you can't see, that's on standby, and I probably have another Wii that I inherited from my mother somewhere, because she liked to play Wii Sports with her friends, particularly like things like bowling. She did buy the exercise balance board and all of that sort of stuff too. But I actually, in the aftermarket for the Wii U right now, it's pretty easy to get a Wii U fairly inexpensively. And I bought some untested Wii U units. And so I actually have, counting, I think I have 4 or 5 Wii U's, which I will get to later, because I have some Japanese ones and some American ones. And they're not complete systems. Like, I obviously do have 2 complete systems, because you can't use them without them being complete. But most of it is just the base units themselves that people we're getting rid of, etc. And I do have 4 different screens, are the handheld controllers with screens, because it was just a very low price purchase. But anyway, this right here, is the Wii. The Wii U, though, is completely compatible. The nice thing, though, about the Wii is, like, up here there was a flip up on the first edition ones where you could insert GameCube controllers and play GameCube games. And that was pretty cool, because it also is, the Wii is, 100% compatible with the GameCube. I don't know about the Wii U. It might be, because I think it's mostly the same technology, but I'm just not sure. I didn't look that up. But if you want to play some GameCube, you plug in your GameCube controller and have that as well. So the Wii is very versatile. So anyway, I know this works, or at least one of mine does, but I'm positive this one does as well. These things are built like tanks. Good stuff, Nintendo. It was a weird thing. It sold really well, but it didn't sell a lot of games for it. Like people bought the Wii, they played Wii Sports, and then they really didn't feel like they needed to go out and buy more than one or two games. And so it was a weird success for Nintendo because, there were enough people, of course, buying, first-party Nintendo titles, and the console itself was probably profitable for them at some point. But it didn't do like the usual 7 to 9 pieces of software per console sale. So, it was still a success by every measure. It was just followed up oddly by the Wii U, which was a very confusing system all around. I'm not sure what Nintendo was targeting with Wii U, and we will talk about that later when we get to a Wii U. Now we're into the Switch generation, which by and large started out with being a multiplayer type of system, where you would be able to share a controller with a friend and put it on the big screen and play together and everything. And then Nintendo ultimately just decided, well, you know what we're going to really do is we're going to just fuse the controllers back to the main unit and give you guys a handheld system. So now it's basically become a Game Boy for all intents and purposes. Since it doesn't have dual screen, the Switch has basically become a Game Boy. And I know you can still do things, with the first version, I think you can still get it, I think. It seems like Nintendo sort of exited the TV console space and quietly, by making this transition and sort of embrace this as a handheld system, which is fine. But it would be nice to see Nintendo come out with a more powerful, home system that I don't know, that could be competitive, I guess, against Sony and Microsoft. It's just a weird thing with Nintendo. Sometimes they try to get really good hardware, but they never seem to get that third-party support the way they want to, or they make some odd decisions that sort of hinders their ability to get that support. And they've always had really good consoles, and they obviously do very well, especially in the handheld space. And I just feel like, if they're exiting the TV market, then that leaves us with two. That leaves us with Sony and Microsoft, right? And that's how everybody thinks about it. The Switch is like the other thing you can own. Want a handheld system? Well, there's the Switch. Want something for the TV? Xbox 4 or PlayStation 5. That's what you get. So it's, it would be nice to see Nintendo compete. Hopefully they are thinking about that. But of course, you got to go with the way the market is and the trends are. Maybe people are just stepping away from TVs and using more handheld devices. But I don't know. I mean, I still think there's a big market for consoles in front of televisions, because there's a lot of people that don't want to squint at little screens and they just want to lay down on their couch with the big screen and play some games, All right, well, that's it for this one. Thanks for watching, and be ready for the next one. Thanks. Bye.